Hello, friends. Do you have a moment so that we may discuss our Lord and Savior Minarchy? No, seriously, I'm just kidding. Hi, my name's Rick Robinson. I am the general manager of KLRNRadio.com. We are probably the largest independent podcast network that you've never heard of. We have a little bit of everything, and by that, what I mean to tell you is we have news, pop culture, special events, conspiratainment, true crime, mental health shows, drama productions, and pretty much everything in between. So if you're looking for a new podcast home to grab a little bit of everything that you love all in one place, come check us out. You can find us on X under @KLRNRadio. You can find us on our Rumble and our YouTube channels under the same names. You can also find us at KLRNRadio.com and pretty much every podcast catcher known to man. So again, feel free to come check us out anytime you like at KLRNRadio.
Are you ready to reach for the stars? Tune in to The Lost Wanderer, the #1 monthly podcast on good pods in astronomy. Join our host, Jeff, as he takes you on an interstellar adventure to explore the mysteries of space and the wonders of science. From rocket launches and distant galaxies to the latest discoveries in astronomy, each episode is a thrilling ride through the cosmos. Don't just gaze at the stars, come explore the universe with us. Follow The Lost Wanderer wherever you get your podcasts, and let's discover the stars together.
My dad was really, really special, and I love my dad now.
I'm proud of him, and that even though he isn't here with us, but he died as a true hero.
I miss everything about him.
In the moment that the officers and I had to come see the children, my biggest reaction was, I don't have 7 arms. I have 7 children who just lost their father, and I don't have 7 arms to wrap around them.
I'm Frank Silla, chairman of the Stephen Silla Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Our foundation is committed to delivering mortgage-free homes for Gold Star families and fallen first responder families.
To not have to worry financially is a huge peace of mind. The thought of, what in the world will I possibly do to pay the bills? How will I possibly let the children have a life that feels normal? I don't want them to have to quit their piano lessons or their basketball. I don't want them to feel that we have to move into a little apartment and struggle financially in addition to the emotional weight.
There are over 1,000 families that need our help. Tunnel to Towers is honoring those heroes that risk their lives by providing them with mortgage-free homes.
Those who serve us and then lay down their lives protecting our freedoms and our safety, the least we can do is $11 a month to give them that peace of always knowing there's a home, there's that sanctuary when life feels like it's been tipped upside down, because it has, when you lose a parent in the line of duty, to know you can go home, you can be safe, there's no risk of losing your home. That's a peace of mind that I can't believe you can get for $11 a month.
I'd like to ask you to contribute $11 a month to support their efforts.
Please donate $11 a month by calling 1-844-BRAVEST or visit tunneltotowers.org.
Independence. With that declaration, America was born. Inspired by a belief in the God-given rights of every human being. That among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Our government was established to secure these rights and for the good that comes from exercising them well. This is why the founders of our great nation chose independence. As do we. Hillsdale College accepts no government funding. Because independence makes possible the good to which we aspire. Hillsdale College, pursuing truth and defending liberty since 1844.
Ready to learn some medieval combat, kiddo? You bet, Dad. Let's do this.
You know, spending quality time with your kids is important, but finding a fun and safe way to do it can really be a challenge. That's where halberds come in. Halberds are the perfect way to bond with your kid while teaching them about history and physical fitness. Plus, they're a blast to play with. So next time you're looking for some family fun activity, grab a halberd and get ready to make some memories.
Come on, Dad. Round 2.
Halberds, bringing families together one medieval battle at a time. This commercial brought to you by the KLRNRadio.com Ad Council.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of He Said, She Said. I am your hostess, Aggie, and with me is the awesome Rowdy Rick. How are you doing this evening, Rick?
I'm alive. I don't feel like I have the plague anymore, so there's that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I'm blaming the munchkin that goes back and forth to school now because I have been down for like 10 days, and it was weird. It was like, I'm not sure if it's like that or some sort of electronic thing, because once Jeff started describing how he was like, it's like 1 minute I feel fine and the next minute I feel half dead, I was like, damn it, that's pretty much how I feel. And he's in Vermont, so I don't know if we're communicating to this stuff with each other electronically anytime we're on the same signal or what's going on, because it was weird because like all of us all had the crud around the same time. I'm like, this shouldn't be possible.
I know. I had it the week before Christmas. It must be a computer viruses became sentient. That's got to be it.
I mean, would it surprise anyone if that were the case now? I'm just saying.
No.
So I did notice one little interesting thing. So I've been confused because when I pulled up the feeds, it shows we have the normal channels that were on +3, and it usually only shows +1 because it shows 4 on the screen, but I can actually run to 5. I didn't realize that last week when there was confusion as to whether I was going to be producing the broadcast for the Christmas party or Jeff was, that Laura had logged in on this one too. So we're going out on Laura's feeds under the Christmas title from last week. So for anybody who's confused, the Christmas party one was last week. This is actually He Said, She Said New Year's party kind of thing going on tonight. So
yeah, Danielle in the chat is also saying that her husband has the crud, and a friend of mine, he's currently in Great Britain right now, but his son gave him the crud as well, and so he's like, oh man, and he was there, for Christmas, and now he's like completely sick, and I see it everywhere. I mean, everywhere I go, people are just, and of course, there's the faction that thinks, oh my God, it's all COVID, and then there's the faction that says, no, it's literally just a cold. I mean, it's winter settling in. No, I mean, all the kids are home from school, and of course, they're going to bring everything home. So, yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, I'm waiting for everybody to start saying, oh my God, it's the bird flu.
Oh yeah, I mean, but birds aren't real, so it's not going to fly.
Stealing an Orty moment. So yeah, I will freely admit to you and the audience that I must be getting old. Finally, I will admit it, because I had this wonderful idea that we would recap top music and top movies for 2024, and then started pulling up the list and realized I didn't know what half of them were. And I was I guess we really won't be talking about that.
I was, when you suggested that, I was in my head, I was like, well, I hope you can carry the show because I never got out of the house and I don't listen to music. I listen to my music, but
that's pretty much me now. I listen to lots of music, but I only really listen to the stuff that I like, and I realize that the culture has moved on without me, if you want to call it culture. Because like I was telling you earlier, the number one song of 2024 is a song I've never even heard of and have no interest in listening to. So
yeah, that you mentioned it, and I was like, I'm drawing a blank. Still nothing. But speaking of music, one important thing to note, I did win Whamageddon. So yay me. I didn't hear it at all. So what did I do? Day after Christmas, sitting around doing nothing, I pulled it up just to get it out of my system.
Dude, I took myself out of Whamageddon this year. It was terrible. I was like listening to a Christmas playlist and it came up and I was like, I really wish I didn't know what this song is within like 2 bars because I could claim ignorance and just switch real quick, but I already know. Damn it. But yeah.
Oh, maybe next year. Maybe next year. So
funny thing is, I never even used to play that game. Gene got me into it because he starts posting about it like weeks before like the first week in December. It's Whamageddon time. I'm like, yeah. And then I'm like, what? I'll kind of quietly play and not tell anybody I play. And then sure enough, I'm like, damn it, I took myself out. I guess it's a good thing I didn't tell anybody I was playing.
Yeah, I did not tell anyone that I was playing because I knew I'd be bombarded immediately. Sure enough, one of my girlfriends posted on Christmas Eve, posted a brief clip of the video, and I told her, yeah, I'm not clicking on that because I plan on winning, but I gotta say, that dude's makeup and hair was on point for that video. I had forgotten how pretty George Michael was.
Yeah. Sadly for you, he played for the other team, so it wouldn't have mattered anyway.
Yeah, so I'm not saying that it's a bad song. I'm not saying it's a great song. It's kind of sad, obviously, but they've made it into a game, so I plan on winning it every year. And I'm cursing myself because now I'm saying it out loud and people are just going to wait until next year to bombard me with it, but I'm just not going to play that game.
So now I have to learn how to crochet a QR code and send you one for Christmas.
Oh my God. So you know about that, right? You know about the QR code that I gave Brad.
I still couldn't believe that I couldn't believe you were actually able to crochet it well enough that it worked.
I cross-stitched it.
Oh yeah, cross-stitch was what I meant. Sorry.
Oh my gosh. So he and his wife have actually trolled pretty much everybody that has come over to their house with that ornament. And I'm like, I win all the things. I mean, because they managed to troll everybody too. So I win. So that's one of the things I'm going to be doing. I will be making QR codes as ornaments and sending those off this coming Christmas.
You need to do another one of those and send it to Aggie, or not Aggie, but Angie.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. So
she's one of the only people I know that actually likes being rickrolled, so she would actually love that.
Oh well, then definitely, I'm gonna write that down tonight because I actually started 2. One is of the rickroll, but the other one is I found a site that has some, and they're just like positive messages. So, but yeah, I'll send Angie the rickroll one.
Yeah, I started an account years ago called Captain Rickroll and used to troll her all the time, and it got boring because she actually liked it. I was like, this is no fun. I was like, it's no fun if you like the trolling.
That's too funny. So was Santa good to you?
Decent. I got a couple of new shirts, got a little bit of money, got of course a bottle of Maker's Mark from you and I am still working on ironing all the flags and changing up the stuff behind me before I go back on the air probably on Tuesday. So
Yeah, well, don't make any permanent changes when you put up the flags because I have a plan for a sign.
oh no, these are just going up with these are just going up with text anyway for now.
Okay. Yeah, don't make it permanent. Yeah.
Yeah, you already let the cat out of the bag that you were working on the sign. So.
Yes. I mean, I think it was an AI picture that was posted in the green room, and I was like, I can make that sign. I can actually make that sign. I know how to make that sign. And I sent the picture to, I took a screenshot, sent it to my sister, and I said, "Can you help me make that sign?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, I can make that sign." I'm like, I don't need you to make it. I need you to help me make it. I know how to make it. You have some of the tools that I need. And she's all like, no, I'll make it. I'm like, I am not going to ask you to make the sign. I will make the sign. I just need to borrow your damn jigsaw. That's all. She gets into the whole DIY, the whole creative side of everything. And so she has to, and she's a perfectionist because she suffers from OCD. So if it's not perfect, she will tear everything apart and then redo it. And I'm like, I don't have time for that. I just want it to look pretty. So that's why I cannot have her have control. I'll never get the sign if she has control. So yes. Orty got a gift from me. I saw this and I had to get it for him. I got an Oregon Trail "You Have Died of Dysentery" ornament.
Oh, that is awesome.
I had to get that for Orty. I saw that and I said, oh my God. I literally squealed and the lady asked me if I was okay.
You don't understand. Somebody's going to absolutely love this.
It was epic. It was so cute. I went back to get one for myself and they were gone. So I was glad that I at least got that one. But yeah,
that's why you always buy two when you find something cool.
Yes, I know. I learned my lesson yet again.
I wanted one of those and I went back to go get it. It was gone. But
I bought myself.
I've never even seen one of those, and I'm gonna have to get one for my tree.
Maybe I should go back and see if they have it on sale. I don't know. Maybe they have it online. I don't know. But it was adorable. And I was just like, this beats every idea that I had. So I had to get that. And it was a little small thing, but it was so ordy.
It's kind of hard to buy. It's kind of hard to buy for the Amish because they make everything. So
I know. Yeah, this is true. This is true. Well, that's good. I'm glad that you had a really good Christmas. That's nice.
Yeah, it was decent. And
you actually had like 5 Christmases.
Well, I had 1. I had 3. My kids had 4 because I didn't go to the last one. They did. I went and ate Chinese food with friends while they were at the X's because I was like, yeah, I'm not dealing with those people again. I haven't had to see them that much this year. I'm going to let you guys deal with that one. So I'm going to drop you off and I'm going to go eat Chinese food. But that was when I noticed like this crud that we're talking about. Like every kid in the fucking Chinese restaurant had the deep, bassy, mucusy cough. And I'm like, this is weird. This is just weird.
Well,
everybody's got it.
We know birds don't exist, but that doesn't mean the bird flu doesn't exist. And who's to say that it's not a very light, cold type of virus that goes around? Everyone makes it sound like the bird flu is going to kill everybody. But I remember when the bird flu came out and I was like, yeah, I'm okay.
I still think it was all the alien drones spraying crap on us that was trying to kill us. And that's why we all have this cough now.
I don't know.
Hey,
all I know is that
Z is actually awakened in the chat.
Yes.
As she types snore.
Yeah, it was it's a pretty good Christmas over here too. I mean, I had 2 of my kids came and the other one had to work, so she was not able to come, but it was it was nice and everything. And of course, I had to call my parents for Christmas, and this is the first Christmas that none of us have traveled to celebrate Christmas with our parents. everything just nothing clicked. And so I call my mom, and so I get the guilt trip, and I was like,
activates.
yeah, and I said, hold up, I was there not even 3 weeks ago. I can't go just turn around and do it again. But I told her that I was hoping to come sometime in January, and that cheered her immediately up. And I said, Mom, the thing with you is that she always got into Christmas so big. I mean, this is where I got my thing about having more than one Christmas tree in the house. I mean, she had a Christmas tree in the formal living area, in the den, in the breakfast nook. Every bedroom had one. There was one on the Christmas table on the formal dining room table. There was one as you came up the walk. There was one in the backyard, and I want to say she had one in the master bathroom on the between the two sinks. And I'm like, I get, Mom, that you want to have all of this, but maybe if you scaled it back and just did a small tree each year, it's manageable now. And you can still, it can still be festive. You don't have to have 5,500 trees in the house. And all of a sudden, I hear my dad from across the room, because apparently Mom had it on speaker. He said, "You hear that? You don't need a lot of trees, just one." You're not helping the situation, Dad.
I was
But
not. I was not trying to be your backup, Father. I was trying to
yes,
prove a point.
I was trying to be more diplomatic, and everything. But so I assuaged my mom. She was, like I said, she was doing the Hispanic guilt trip. I needed my fill of it, apparently. And but hopefully I'll see them this January, and it should be fun. It'll be very low key. She did ask if I was planning on traveling with another frozen duck. I said no. I will actually cook and freeze it, so then I'll bring it down, and then we can just defrost it and eat it. But she said, "But the kitchen smelled so good when you were cooking it." And I just thought, I'm going to travel with a fucking frozen duck again. It's going to happen, because she is
Oh
guilting
yeah.
me into doing it.
Oh yeah. I already know you have this all planned out. No, I'll just cook it in advance, and then we'll just take it down there, and I'll reheat it. And then she's like, "But the kitchen smells so good." And you're like, "Damn it, damn
Yeah.
it."
Well, apparently a small altercation arose from the fact that I cooked duck for my mother, because my mom raved about it to my sisters, and my sisters got upset with me because of it. And I'm like, how is this my fault?
It's not my fault. I know how to cook duck better than you.
I'm like, I'm literally following a recipe. It does not take a genius. I mean, it's right there, black and white on paper. And apparently one of my sisters noticed that I was very quiet in that chat when the other sisters were complaining about the fact that my mom raved about something that I cooked, and they don't cook for my mom. And so they were upset about it. And one of them particularly said, "Well, Mom doesn't eat any of my food," which is an outright lie, because I have literally seen my mother eat her food. Okay. And she has complimented my sister on it. And she has actually asked my sister, "Hey, when I go visit, can you fix this?" And my sister will say yes. And now she's here saying my mom doesn't eat her food. And I'm like, it's the CERN, do something, because am I on a different timeline? Because I distinctly remember you cooking for Mom. But I didn't say anything. I just kept quiet. And apparently one of my sisters noticed, and she sends me a private message and says, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, I had no idea that cooking a fucking duck was going to cause such strife. And God bless her, she says, "Well, it's because we're all jealous that Mom got to eat duck and we didn't." And I'm like, well, okay, that's fair. But I this just goes to show you, it doesn't matter how hard you try to be a good person, somebody's going to get upset about something.
That's why I've just kind of hit the point where I don't care anymore. Like, So this year is probably going to be one of the last times we do a full Christmas meal at my dad's because my dad did, which actually last year he did all of it. This year it was he did the meats and we did the rest potluck style. And this year he was like, you know what? Even with you guys doing all this, it was still just too much. So I think from now on we're just going to do snacks and desserts and presents. And I'm like, Dad, that's fine. And then the next thing I know, he's like, well, after I eat your potato stuff, maybe we can divide up who does the meats and stuff, and you guys can do all the cooking next year and just bring it with you. I'm like, Dad, whatever works for you, man. We'll figure it out. I said, but if I'm cooking, I'm smoking a prime rib for next year. 'Cause
Ooh, yeah. That sounds good, actually. I've only had prime rib once in my life.
Oh, dude, I don't. I almost never cook it, but anytime I go to a steak place, that's usually what I wind up getting. And I'd never had a smoked prime rib before until I went to Toby Keith's. They smoke theirs, and oh my
Mm.
god, does that make such a difference? I am not a huge fan of anything else at Toby Keith's because it's overpriced and just not that great. But their smoked prime rib is absolutely amazing. So
Oh, I bet.
yeah, I have a smoker that I got for last Christmas that I haven't messed with much, and I plan on fixing that this year. Because yeah, I'm gonna start smoking all the things. So yeah, but
Man, now I want smoked rib. Damn it. Okay. And I literally just had dinner.
Oh yeah, so did we. I made homemade chicken and dumplings, so we just finished eating too. So.
Yeah, that's a comforting dish. Chicken and dumplings. That is really comforting. And I love making it. Unfortunately, I can't use any yeast anymore, so I have to buy the canned biscuit dough
Yeah.
that's made with baking powder, and I use that instead. But man, yeah, chicken and dumplings. I would die happy in chicken and dumplings. Yeah.
It's one of my favorite things to eat. That and pretty much anything in anything that's been barbecued, I'm happy usually.
Hmm.
Well, that
Well,
and Chinese food because I'm a fat kid. Let's just be real.
man, I haven't had Chinese food in almost 4 years. I'm sorry, I just don't trust any place around here. So
I've learned how to make a lot. Well, my ex learned how to make a lot of it herself, and now that she's been gone, I've learned how to make a lot of it because there aren't any Chinese restaurants around here. So we usually make a lot of it, but then I had to go into the city to take the kids to the exes anyway. So I met up with a bunch of other people that didn't have anything going on Christmas Day, and they're like, "Let's go eat Chinese food," and I'm like, "Okay."
Well,
I was talking to another friend, and her mom went to because they didn't have anything going on Christmas Eve either. Her and her mom went to IHOP, and she's like, "It was terrible." I was like, "Dude, you should have just came to the Chinese restaurant with the rest of us." She's like, "I didn't even know Chinese restaurants were open." I was like, "Have you not ever seen A Christmas Story?"
I know that's like
How do you not know?
that's the first thing on my mind. It's like, oh yeah, we watched Christmas Story.
I'm pretty sure that's what set the precedent. If it didn't already exist in the first place, was that movie?
Yep.
All the Chinese people were like, "Oh, we can make money off of stupid Americans on Christmas Day. Let's do that."
Oh yeah, there's a where I lived, there was a Chinese place called A Dong. Yes, I posted the picture. Yes, it exists. A Dong. And it was actually pretty good. And they didn't used to be open on Christmas Day, but the proprietor was Chinese and he did not observe Christmas, or anything. And he was like, why not open it on Christmas Day? There are other people that don't observe Christmas. There are other people that might want to eat Christmas. And I think the first Christmas that he was open for Christmas Day, it was full the whole day. And it was like, it's not that people weren't observing Christmas, it's that people did not want to cook. They were tired or they just didn't have a lot of people. They weren't hosting anybody. They were, people who didn't have family or whatever, and they just wanted a place so they would have like a Christmas buffet, and it was all very cheery and very nice, and people were encouraged to sit with other people so not to be alone in tables and everything. And so it became a really festive occasion over there. And as far as I know, they're still doing it. It's really neat how they do that. But yeah, I haven't
That's
had Chinese food in a long time. I miss it.
I mean, you ate duck the other day. That's pretty close.
Well, yes, but I didn't prepare Peking duck. I prepared roasted duck, and I used French herbs. So yeah, it doesn't count.
I know lots of Chinese people that speak French. Just saying. Or at least Asian people, not necessarily Chinese. But yeah, you should throw them a curveball one of these times. You're taking duck to your mom's and do Peking duck instead. Be like, ha ha, I fooled you.
Well, maybe I will next year. So, well, Christmas came and went. Nothing bad happened, I hope. I mean, aside my guilt trip and my sister's getting upset about the fact that I can cook a duck, which still makes no sense to me. Everything
Well,
was pretty flaccid,
you're nicer than me because you'd have been like, I'd have been like, okay, you're mad that I can cook a duck. You can go fuck one. How you like me now? But no, I mean, I did get some bad news yesterday that was semi-Christmas. Well, actually, yesterday and then got confirmed today. I heard from a friend that another friend of mine died in November, and I'm like, dude, how am I just finding this out? It's almost January. But yeah, I talked to his wife today, and yeah, I had a friend that passed away on like November the 9th. And I'm like, I can't believe nobody told me. I didn't even get to go to the funeral. She's like, well, I didn't have anybody's contact information and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, we were friends on Facebook. You could have found me, but whatever. So yeah, I'm just having one of those. I guess there are people that are more important to me in my life than I am in their moments. And I don't like that feeling, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I know that some people in my family look forward to Christmas every year, but it's mostly about traveling and coming home and visiting with people and all that stuff. My son was unable to shop for anybody. And as far as I know, nobody asked if he brought presents or anything like that. And he asked me yesterday, are you upset that I didn't have any gifts for anybody? And I was like, absolutely not. I don't need anything for one. And I understand that you were traveling from clear across the country. I don't expect you to actually bring a bunch of stuff or anything like that. And he was like, because I can always send you something. I can always go buy something, blah, blah, blah. And I said, no, I don't need anything. I'm just glad that you came home. And of course, my oldest, every time she would come home, she would say, well, I am the gift. And I'm like, well, okay, wait a minute. So the gift is you coming home. And she was like, yeah, because I paid a lot of money to get that flight so I could come home to be with you. So that's my gift. My gift to you is my presence. And I'm like, okay, I can see that, and that's fine. And for me, that is gift enough. The presence of, family, it is gift enough. And it was really nice to actually have everybody around. We were all drinking coffee or cocoa, depending, and we were all talking about the gifts as we were opening them, and it was, it was really sweet to be able to do that. And I can definitely see why my mother was very upset, because for her it's the same thing. It's about having family there. So I told her, you know, um, scientists say that baby Jesus was not exactly born on December 25th, so we can celebrate Christmas later on in the year. And she was like, I hate it when you're all smart like that, but okay, we can have the celebration later on in the year. So she's okay as long as I come visit. That's okay. Um, I don't know. It's Christmas is different for everyone. Some people prefer to be alone during Christmas. Others really do not like being alone during Christmas. And it is possibly the hardest time of the year for people who suffer from depression or PTS or certain afflictions of that type, high anxiety as well. So we used to open our home for soldiers who had no place to go or had no family or could not travel. In one year, we hosted, I want to say 23 that came. And the thing was, we told them, I said, y'all don't have to show up all at the same time. I'll be serving food from this hour to this hour. So like in the space of 4 hours, if you want to come by, if you want to have Christmas dinner, feel free. I think we made a brisket. And so there was plenty of food. And they came over, they had dinner, they hung out for a little while. And for them, it was nice to just be able to talk to people and everything. And they left. I think one guy was there for 2 hours and one young woman was there for like maybe 30 minutes. She just came to eat and she was talking about work and how she had to get back to it in just a little bit and all this stuff and then left. But that was something that I enjoyed doing. And sadly, I can't do it out here. But what I have decided to do in its stead was there's this little thing. It's really weird. The little lending libraries that people have all over town?
Yeah.
They look like little birdhouses, but they're full of books. Well, someone erected something similar, slightly larger, and it's called the Little Food Barn. So I take it upon myself to fill it up once a week. And I put, canned vegetables, pasta sauce, soups, any, mostly dry goods and stuff that will not spoil. And I'll put it in there. And it used to be that I could do it on a Sunday, and by Saturday, maybe 2/3 of it was gone. And then so I could replenish it the following Sunday. So I would keep it up like that. But between Thanksgiving and Christmas, it gets really hard. And so I filled it up one day and I'm driving by it the following day, it was completely empty, And so I asked friends of mine, I said, hey, the little food barn needs, if y'all have spare cans, can you just put them out there or I'll come and pick them up. And so I went to town to a couple of places, where I usually hang out, and they had some canned goods for me to put in there, and I took them in there and everything. And the other day I refilled it again and everything. So I may not be able to host a Christmas dinner, but at least I'm kind of trying to make sure that people have enough for a dinner, that kind of thing. And yeah, I'll put stuff in there like, Jell-O and stuff that kids can eat, will want to eat. I'm not going to put Quaker Oats, even though I know it's healthier. But, you want your kids to have a treat every so often. So I'll put Jell-O and stuff like that in there. So that has been my pet project. And it's starting, the weathering of it is starting to show signs of decay. So I have to go sometime in January and fix the doors and paint it again and put the sign back up that says Food Barn on it and everything. I don't know who put it up, but I'm very grateful that they did. So I'm trying to upkeep it and keep it nice and pretty on the inside. My sister thinks I'm crazy, but I'm like, I need it to look pretty. And I actually wanted to put curtains on the little windows. That's how insane I am.
I'm just going to sit here and say nothing.
I can't help it. I'm like, this is a project and I want it to look pretty. And, so, but no, if I put curtains on the windows that people cannot see that there's food there. So I can't put curtains on the windows. Otherwise, it's going to look pretty.
You could put curtains on the windows and give them tiebacks just to make the window look fancy and still let them see in.
Hey, there's an idea. I can do that. I can even paint the glass to make it look like there's a curtain with tiebacks. There's
welcome.
an idea. Aggie, who needs to paint everything from rocks to glass.
You're welcome. All right, so we know what one of your plans for 2024 is now. You're gonna refurbish your food barn.
Yep, that's my little plan. I just wanted to make it look pretty, you know, and and I have to put reflective stuff on it too, because some people, you know, it's close enough to the curb that somebody might hit it. So that's another thing that I have to do, put reflectors on it.
Sounds like a plan.
I know I'm weird, but anyway.
I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything.
Like I said, I don't have resolutions. I just have plans to keep my hands, you know, working. You know what the saying, idle hands are the devil's workshop. So I need to keep my, you know, skills up.
I'm just over here like this.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, yeah, New Year's Eve is coming up.
Yep. It's Tuesday. You realize this means we won't have another show for a year.
We will not have another show on Tuesday. This is the first time Cocktail Lounge has a vacation.
No Cocktail Lounge, bitches. Seems odd that the Cocktail Lounge is closed on New Year's Eve, but I'm not the producer, so I don't care.
No, I mean, we don't normally do a lot of stuff, but I know that there's a little party going on downtown, and it's not, you know, until midnight or anything. But you know, the stores want to, well, the restaurants want to have like an outdoor type of food tasting type of thing, and you know, the local winery is going to have some stuff or whatever. I don't know. But apparently it's supposed to be like Sylvester over in Germany, where everybody's outside and throwing a party outside or something.
Danielle, you don't have to point out to us that you like to go big or go home too. We've seen North Pole South, aka your living room.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if anybody follows Domestic Cat CEO on Twitter. She does a fabulous job of decorating her home. I mean, it's a showcase. I thought she was the only one until Danielle showed us pictures, and I'm like, man, I feel bad. I have 3 trees and a garland, and I'm good with that.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Alan in the chat's like, yeah, because she's like, yeah, Aggie's like me, go big or go home. And Alan's like, yeah, I'd rather go home. That's the primary objective. I'm with you, brother. I'm with you.
Yeah, I mean, at my age, I'm like, it's bedtime. We have to stay up for midnight. What? Meanwhile, my sister, she's in Germany. They have plans for Sylvester, and they will be staying up until like midnight or 1 o'clock, you know, celebrating and whatnot. I mean, New Year's Eve in Germany, y'all, it is a big deal. It's bigger than Christmas, and that's saying a lot for the place that gave us the Christmas tree. Okay. So people make plans. It is one of 2 days where you're allowed to have fireworks. And I don't mean inside the city limits versus outside. I mean, you're allowed to have fireworks, as in ever. So that's one day you can legally own a firework and set it off. And the parties began at, well, people start drinking like at noon or something, but the actual parties began around dusk or so. People set up tables outside their homes so that people walking by can partake of, you know, finger foods or whatever. People set up bottles and bottles of champagne for midnight, but until midnight, you're actually just drinking beer or wine, whatever's available. And people will walk by and greet you, wish you a wonderful new year, and you know, they'll partake of your food, and then they'll just keep going. I mean, it's a big thing, and everybody does it. It's quite beautiful. It's one of the few times where the Germans actually were humane instead of robotic like they normally are, you know. And so when we were there, I was afraid of Sylvester because there were so many people involved. There were so many things that were going on all around you that, you know, it was virtually impossible for you to have situational awareness. And so we would go out and enjoy our neighbors and everything, and then we would go home, or we would go to the American base and, you know, do the fireworks from there, and then we would go home. But I mean, would I say that these people enjoy Sylvester? Imagine, if you will, the fireworks display in at the harbor at the Statue of Liberty, 4th of July. Multiply that, you know, to the power of, you know, 12, because I mean, the entire sky lights up. Everybody has fireworks, and everybody's going to take advantage of the fact that for one day it is legal to own fireworks. And I mean, come midnight, all of that stuff is set off. It is beautiful. It is fantastic. And it's amazing. It's an amazing time. But like I said, it's kind of intimidating when you're not used to it. Contrast that to living in the sticks like you and I do.
Yeah. And
Although I'm sure you guys are probably going to have fireworks.
oh yeah, there's fireworks going there. There'll be fireworks going off starting probably Monday, and then all my neighbors shoot off all their guns for the entire night too. So that's fun. The funny thing is, but the dogs that I've always had that came from the city, they freak out anytime the neighbors start shooting. Roxy, who basically has been here her whole life, she just ignores it. Like she's just like, I don't care. Just I don't. Now the neighbors next door slam their car door. She goes nuts. But somebody starts shooting off guns. She don't care. I'm like, how the hell can you even hear the car door from like 1,000 yards away, but you don't and freak out and you can hear a freaking AR-15 going off 1,000 yards away. Weirdest dog ever, but anyway.
That's impressive when you think about it, though. That she is not disturbed by gunfire, but somebody slams the car door. It goes insane.
Oh, yeah, I think it's the inner Chihuahua coming out. But. Oh, so any big plans or anything you got in the works for 2025?
Well, it's funny you should say that because I had an epiphany not too long ago.
I've had an apostrophe. Oh wait, sorry.
An apostrophe.
It's a line from.
I gotta remember that one.
It's a line from Hook. I've had an apostrophe. Lightning has struck me brain.
That's awesome. Oh, okay. Everybody has issues with going through a depression cycle, or just feeling sad. There's the dissociative disorder that's associated with winter. There's some people do suffer from clinical depression, that kind of thing. I've always had to control my depression myself. And one of the things that I did not realize I did was that I did not know what a toxic person was. I actually had to go look up the definition for that because I didn't want to say just because you don't like what a person does doesn't make them toxic. That's not really the definition of it.
You've seen pictures of my ex. You know what it. Oh wait, never mind. I'm sorry. Continue.
But I had to learn what a toxic person is, and it has been unfortunate for me to find out that some relatives do have those traits. And, one of the things that my mom has always told me is like, oh my God, you're so like your father. You're so like your father. Yeah, I'm so like my dad. My dad just doesn't give a fuck anymore. So I need to adopt that. And I've been pretty good about it this past year, but I need to ratchet up a couple of levels, simply because these particular relatives of mine happen to be close. They're not immediate family members. They're for what I call first ring extended. So they are still relatively close. And unfortunately, I had to make the decision, do I need to keep trying to fix this when they themselves keep destroying it? The answer is no. There is no reason for me to actually keep trying when the only thing I will get back in return is complete destruction of anything I put forth. And I'm better served with taking that energy that I put into something that's going to be destroyed, regardless of how hard I try to build it, and put it into something that I want to build that will allow me to build it, So that was a hard realization for me. And yes, it happened because of the election. It happened because these people happen to be for a different political viewpoint than I share. But, you know, I wasn't the one that was alienating them. They were the ones that chose to take the steps to basically call everybody else a Nazi. And I'm like, okay, the one thing that you don't do is call somebody that. And when I explained to one of them why you don't do that, they thought, that particular person thought that I said that I was defending myself. And I said, no, I am trying to make you understand why that term exists and why that term is so bad, and why you using that term in this context takes away, it waters down that term to the point where it actually makes it okay to be called a Nazi. That's a danger, and you don't see it. And I tried teaching this person that, and it did not, they just didn't want to learn. And I'm not talking about a 12 or 13-year-old. I'm talking about a woman in her 30s. Okay. Both of them are in their mid to late 30s, and both of them feel this way. And it was really tough for me, because I have never had to take the step. And now I'm finding myself telling myself, I'm almost 60. I cannot keep doing this if people don't want it. If they don't want to have that relationship with me, if they want to destroy everything that I put forth as a possible truce, then I cannot expend that and that energy into that. And so that was a hard lesson for me to learn this year. And that lesson is taking me through next year. And it's unfortunate because, these are relatives of mine. You don't want to do that to relatives. I certainly didn't want to do it to relatives, much less friends. I've never, ever cut off a friend. As a matter of fact, I was thinking today of a friend that I lost maybe a couple of years ago. He just left. Okay. And there was no explanation given. There was nothing. And I had to really dig deep and ask myself, do I want to keep the hope alive on this one? Yeah, I do. I do want to keep the hope alive that this friendship can come back. Why? Because there was no toxicity to it. There was no hostility. There was nothing mean that happened. It just, sometimes things just fall apart and people go separate ways, and I get that. But in this case, there was nothing that happened to cause that. So I just keep the hope that maybe the relationship can, we can become friends again, we can start talking again or whatever. But in the case of these two particular people, when they go out of their way to tell you how horrible you are because you didn't vote their way, that's a problem. They're letting politics dictate familial ties, and I have to draw the line. So I'm taking that further. And as y'all know, my family is huge. I'm Hispanic and Catholic, and in Puerto Rico, I'm pretty much related to everybody. So there have been issues with some family members in there, and I have kept my mouth quiet. I'm not going to do that anymore. I cannot afford to keep expending energy where it's just going to go to waste. So that's one of the things that I have told myself. Admittedly, this it's not a cheerful thing. It's not a happy thing like most people are used to with Aggie, but it is a constructive thing. And it is something that it took me a very long time to learn. Like I said, I did not know what a toxic person was. I didn't know what it meant to be a toxic personality. And once I read up on it, once I talked to a friend of mine who happens to be a therapist, and she explained, and I told her about what had happened with my relatives, and she herself said, I don't see why you should continue to try to fix something they themselves want to destroy. And when she put it in those terms, I was like, holy crap, yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. Every single time I tried to mend things, it was met with hostility. It was met with, you did this to me, it's your fault, and you're going to have to pay for it. And I'm like, I didn't do shit to you. Not once. I've never, and these are people that I supported emotionally, financially, and this is how I get repaid, because they're really, 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 really liberal. So, yeah, I admittedly, this is kind of a rough thing, but it did give me some clarity. I have clarity now. I can move forward, and I can't say, yeah, I'm not going to waste my time on something that's just going to bite me in the ass. Why should I? And a lot of people are like, oh, I can't believe you're saying that. Aggie, you have hope for humanity. You are the only person that I know always has hope for everything, no matter what. I do have hope, but it's on them to fix themselves. I can no longer do any of the fixing. And that's the difference.
And
I
this
had to
segment, sorry. And this segment of Festivus for the Rest of Us is brought to you by Hard Dickens Cider.
I have a lot of issues to pick with you people. But, it was, like I said, it was a hard lesson. And I was not the only one that learned this lesson. Several family members have taken it upon themselves to take the same steps that I did. But that was after we talked about it, and after we, discussed the possibility that this can come and be irreparable. Thank you.
Yeah.
I can never pronounce that correctly.
I don't really have that kind of stuff going on with family anymore since the ex isn't around, but I do have some friendships that I realize that I'm the one that puts all the effort in, and I'm like, you know what? I don't think I'm doing that anymore. I'm tired of pouring into other people's cups when I get nothing in return. So
yeah, it has been a really tough lesson to learn, because I'm a giver. I give and give and give until I'm stretched so thin that it becomes a mental health issue for me. And I have to, regroup and take care of myself before I can start giving again. But I've always been that way. God. I think a friend of mine called me an anchoress. And I was like, you asshole. He was like, but you are. And And for those of you who don't know what an anchoress is, look up anchorite in Wikipedia. It'll tell you. Anchor, like the anchor you throw in the sea, anchorite, ITE. So, and that should give you a small rundown of it.
It's a pretty self-explanatory kind of word, though.
Yeah.
You're the glue.
I mean, I was so mad when he said that. I was like, oh, you asshole. And he looked at me, he's like, well, you are. And by the way, we're still in church. And I'm like, I can't, oh my God. So yes, that was one of the things I did go to confession for that week. But, it's just, that's the way I've always been. My kids say that there's the love languages, I think. Acts of service is one. I'm really, apparently, that fits me to a T. And when my service was spat upon by relatives, it was for me very problematic because I didn't know how to handle that. That had never happened. And that's why it took a while for me to actually figure out where to go from that point. And so that's one of the things I'm looking forward to in the new year, being able to not only discern where the true friendships lie, where the familiar ties, how strong they are, that kind of thing, but also to make sure that I give to others where, it's been lacking. So that's one of my big purposes for 2025. Now that I have done the after school special here. What about you? Please tell me it's something nicer than what I did.
Well, I mean, for me, it just more of KLRNRadio slowly trying to take over the world. So, I mean, I'm still trying to get the parent company set up and get all those things up and running. I think 2025 is probably going to be the year I'm going to go ahead and start working on getting a political action committee put together. Because everybody in Oklahoma has been like, you really need to start one of those. And I'm like, I really don't want to. And they're like, well, nobody else is. And I'm like, fine. Because, yeah, apparently there isn't really anybody investing in the kind of things that we want invested in around here when it comes to politicians. I guess it's something that I'm going to work on trying to fix myself within the next year or so, since I have a couple of years to get it spun up before the next midterm. Because I probably won't have it up and running well enough to do anything until the big elections anyway, because it takes a while to build one. But I'm figuring all that out. And then, just trying to get more consistent with my writing, because unfortunately being sick most of this month has meant that I've written almost nothing. So I plan on fixing that this weekend like a madman.
Oh, yeah. You got to put that nose to the grindstone, buddy.
Hey. But yeah, no, I just, lots of things that I have been trying to work on that unfortunately I tried to do way too many things at once, and I'm having to try to focus on one thing at a time until I get it done. Because there's just aren't enough hours in the day. And unfortunately, I am not 25 anymore. I used to be able to work 20, 22 hours a day and barely feel it. Now I'm like, I'm lucky if I can do 10 before I want to die.
No, but you're right. We are not 25 anymore. And I think that's part of the issue with having been set in our ways for such a long time, having to change our habits and having to change our focus is really difficult.
Yeah. I mean, it has been for me. I mean, that's like when I finally just got so sick, I was going to try to keep going. And I was like, you know what? I don't even really have a voice right now. There's no way I can do half the things that I want to do. And then I went to the doctor and they gave me a bunch of shit. And the next thing I know, I'm sleeping for like 2 days. And everybody's like, oh my God, are you dead? And I'm like, I kind of felt like it, but no.
Oh, yes, we were.
Never heard from you. And I'm like, I took medicine and it was Sunday. It's the last thing I remember.
I know we were over at the group. Has anybody heard from Rick? No, I'm getting worried. And somebody else piped up, yeah, I'm kind of worried too. Maybe we should call him. Well, I would call him if I had his number. I said, I would. So those of us that did have your number, we started texting. You must have woken up too.
Oh, I did. So yeah, so I didn't tell anybody, but I went to the doctor on that Friday, and they gave me the steroids and the shots and all the things, and then I started feeling better. So I was like, you know what? I'll try to do a few minutes of the show at least. And at first, I thought I was going to be producing, and I was going to be like, I'm just going to monitor from my phone and come back in here if something goes wrong after I do my bit. And then I realized Jeff was doing it, and I was like, hey, maybe I can just hang out and just chill for the whole thing since I don't have to do as much. And then my voice started cutting out again. And then so I went and turned on something and laid down, and the next thing I know, and I know I wasn't unconscious the entire time. I just don't remember anything between like Friday night and Sunday because I woke up Sunday to like a million text messages, a million DMs, phone calls, and oh my God, what happened? We haven't heard. This is the longest we've never heard. Are you okay? I'm like, oh my God. No,
Listen,
I had the plague.
We can't help it. You were boss man. We had to check up on you. You are a much loved person, and we were very worried. And I was just like, the first thing that I thought of was like, I need to get his kids to get me their phone numbers so I can like call them if you don't pick up. Go check on you. like you're 108 years old.
Help, I've fallen and I can't.
Yes.
But no, so yeah, I got up that Sunday and was like, yeah, I starting to feel better, but I still don't feel great. And yeah, I'm not doing anything. And I even told Jesse on Sunday night, I was like, if I don't start feeling better by tomorrow, y'all gonna have to figure some stuff out for Christmas because I ain't going anywhere. And then the medicine finally started working, so by Monday I felt good, and then Tuesday, and then everything else. But which being able, we went to my aunt's church service because I hadn't gone to church in the last couple of weeks because Gracie had the crud one weekend and I had the crud the next, so I didn't want to expose anybody to anything. So we were feeling better by then. So she's like, you guys can go ahead and come. I'm like, okay. So we did her church's Christmas Eve candlelight service and then went and ate pizza and opened presents, and Gracie had fun. And then then Christmas morning she got up and got her giant bluey that Papa got her, which she absolutely loved, and then she opened her other presents. And then she went to my ex-wife's and got even more presents. I was like, this kid has a toy store in my living room again.
Well, I was spoiled for Christmas, so I can't say anything. I got cocktail stuff, and I got bath bombs, and I got oh my gosh, I got a Snuggie. The wearable blanket with a hoodie that you can, that you snuggle in. I got one of those. I was so happy. You cannot possibly understand how happy I was to get this thing. It is completely shapeless. It is about 3 times as big as I am, width-wise, arms extended and everything. And I love it to death. I have worn that thing every morning and cuddled with it. I look like an Eskimo and I don't care.
Hey, Jeff, I have 2 words for you. One rhymes with truck and the other one's a baby sheep. Just saying.
I was hoping you didn't see that.
No, I saw it. It's all right. We have a love-hate relationship. He loves to hate on me, and I hate him in return. Just kidding.
I have to say though that you guys are working together really well, and it has shown on KLRN. So it has been great. The other one's a sheep. I'm going to be reading my book and busting out laughing. Oh yeah, we have a book podcast coming up, by the way.
Yep.
So that should be on the 6th.
Yep.
Which
It'll be
is
the 6th. That's the first
yeah.
Monday.
That's the first Monday. That's Epiphany as well. So should be fun.
Apostrophe?
Apostrophe. Oh man. So anyway, another thing that I plan on doing in 2025, I have tried many, many times before, and I'm going to attempt to learn to crochet again. I have done crochet before, but I've forgotten because it was just mimicking what my mom was doing. My mom can, she can turn out a doily while she's watching Judge Judy without even looking down at what she's doing. But I've never been able to do that. And you need to count and all that stuff. So that's one of the projects that I have. And it all goes back to manual dexterity. And then that's something else that I learned from my girlfriend, the therapist, was that being handy with, your hobbies, like I do the rock painting, and I do the furniture, and I do the cross stitching, and I do the hand knitting, those kind of things. Keeping your manual dexterity is something that is very important, not just for the purposes of staving off arthritis, being limber, that kind of thing, but also because it gives you a focus, and it helps clear your mind. It helps to alleviate stress. It keeps back anxiety. It does also, those things are always helpful. So that's one of the things I'm going to be learning. But another thing that I'm going to be doing is, one of my girlfriends has lamented the fact that we no longer send letters. Did you know that it used to be the thing to do was to send a letter? And the reason that you sent letters was mostly due to the fact that most people could not call everybody. It cost a lot of money. We did not have the internet back then. It cost money to send a telegram, things like that. So people wrote letters to let them know about how the weather was going, how many kids how the kids were doing. All of that stuff was included in the letter that was sent, and you would receive it, you would read it, and it would be really nice. And you would sit down to answer any questions, and then you would send a letter back and all that stuff. Well, she lamented the fact that people just don't write letters anymore. They'll send a short text. They use emojis. We've reverted to being Egyptologists. We're Egyptians. We use hieroglyphics and worship cats. That's what we are. So she was lamenting the fact, and I said, you know what? I'm going to write her a letter, and I did. And then I felt so good to just sit down and write a letter. So I'm going to be writing letters randomly to people.
Well, to be fair, the left worships cat ladies too. So.
Well, this is true. This is true. But yeah, I just decided to randomly just send a letter every so often out into the, I don't know, I have no idea who I'm going to mail these things to. I do write to my parents periodically. I write them about every 3 weeks. And my mother does not write back. She just doesn't have the time. And I told her, you don't have to write to me. I just want to write to you because it helps with my manual dexterity. It helps with, my hand coordination. And she asked me, do you have problems with that? I said, yeah, I think I have some nerve damage from, using tools and all that stuff. And so I want to be able to, keep up with that. So you can always call. It's easier for you to answer everything in a phone call anyway, but I like to send a letter, and I've said to my aunts, I sent one to my uncle, the one that lives in New Jersey. And he called my mother asking what was wrong with me. And I said, well, I guess I'm not going to be mailing him another letter then.
It's like, well, that's like anytime you call like a 20-something, they're like, why the hell didn't you just text me? Because I called you. But then again, I'm kind of that way too, because I spent most of the last decade talking on the phone for anywhere between 8 to 10 to 12 hours a day. So I'm like, yeah, if you unless it's life or death, text me, please. I hate talking on the phone.
There are some people that are like, now that there's text, they don't want to talk on the phone. But you know what? As evidence from the fact that I have so many podcasts and how much time I have spent talking today, I like to talk. Well, see, I don't mind it.
That's weird because I don't mind doing stuff like this, but I absolutely hate talking on the phone. But I've explained this to my parents because I think what it is after doing so many years of doing call center work and having all these little clocks in my head of how long I've been on the phone, because each one of them had a handle time and each one of them was different. So normally, if I'm on the phone for longer than, I will say, max 10 minutes, I start getting nervous. Like, because in my head I have and this is a year removed from this shit too, by the way. Still, I'll be on the phone talking to somebody, and then like the 11-minute mark, I'm like starting to panic because I'm still on the phone. And I have to stop, take a breath, and realize you're not on a handle time. Just relax. And then another couple minutes will go by, and that internal alert, you're on the phone too long. You got to get off this call. I'm like, God, this is ever going to go away? I swear I have PTSD from doing call center work. It's insane. But the good news is AI is about to steal all those jobs anyway. So I guess it doesn't really.
Yeah, I don't mind the phone calls. In fact, I really enjoy it when people call me to talk to me instead of sending me a text. For me, a text is very brief and impersonal. But I understand why they're sent. I understand people sending texts and why it's necessary. And I'm not criticizing anybody for doing so or for sending them to me, because I send them too, obviously. As evidenced by the fact that Rick woke up to an avalanche of them. We all sent texts. So,
dude, I had missed calls. I had texts. I had recordings. I had DMs. I was like, what the hell? Then I realized it was Sunday. I'm like, holy shit, no wonder everybody's blowing up my phone.
Yeah, we were kind of like concerned, but like I said, calling just established, there's a certain comfort to a phone call for me. And so I enjoy, when people call, I will take the time to answer the phone call unless I'm driving or I'm in an eating establishment or I'm at a doctor's office, depending on where I'm at. But most of the time I'm home anyway. So yeah, I'll answer that. I'll be talking. And most of the time I'm the one that fields phone calls from the in-laws and the parents, simply because I do enjoy talking, and I will enjoy listening too. As much as I talk, believe it or not, I've had people talk my ear off, and it has been awesome because I just sit there and I just listen, and that's all they want me to do. They just want me to listen, and I do that. I return that favor. But I just always found it more personal for that reason. It's just you're hearing the person, and there are things that you hear in the inflections and words spoken that you don't get through text. So that's another reason why I'm okay with phone calls. Now, my other sisters, no, absolutely not. They have to be in the mood to talk. And one of them I don't think I have talked to her on the phone for about 3 years. We just text. She just doesn't like calls. So we just text. So it's not an Hispanic thing. It's just a me thing. So. Anyway.
Yeah, like I said, everybody that enjoys talking to me on the phone has been hoping that this whole weirdness I have with phone calls would go away. I will say now, after now being officially retired from call center work for 14 months, I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon because it still drives me nuts. But that's weird though, because I only, except for like a handful of people, I've never really enjoyed talking on the phone. It's one of the reasons why I thought I was going to absolutely hate the call center jobs when I took them, and then it turned out I was actually pretty good at them, which was weird enough on its own. The other thing is, for those of you who know my backstory, I quit college and left a ministry track because of fear of public speaking, and now I've spent the last 15 years of, actually the last 25 years of my life in one way or the other speaking in public and talking on phones and doing things like this. So yeah, irony. Just saying.
Hey, life's a circle, man. It all comes back.
was going to say, you might as well not run from whatever you're afraid of unless it's absolutely insane, because eventually you're going to wind up doing it one way or the other. Anyway, but yeah. So 2024 is done. Well, pretty much. 2025 is on the horizon, and I hope everybody has an awesome new year. I guess since you guys will be off, I think Manorama is actually doing a show on Tuesday. So we'll be doing that one. And then that will probably be about the. Well, I guess I will probably do a show on Tuesday as well in the afternoon, because I have like a week's worth of makeup shows to do. But
I know.
Oh, and then I think you were about to say, I think Vincent's doing like a New Year's show on Sunday.
Yeah, he's doing a New Year's show. He's asked people to join in. Looking at you, Jeff. And let's see what else.
Jeff's going to be too busy trucking, fixing, or finding a book. So
yeah, that's I need to find one too. I'll be honest. Normally I'll pick the book like the month before and skim it, and then I'll spend the month, reading it slowly and make notes out of it, and then reread the notes, and then I'll get on the podcast and everything's fine. This whole month has been completely turned upside down. And actually, no, I will say it was since the election.
Yeah.
That it has been completely upside down. I
thought things were going to get slower when the election happened, and I was so wrong.
I thought so too, and apparently not. There's a lot of breaking news, a lot of this. There's so much. I mean, yes, politics is a telenovela, but it's to the point where this is a Mexican telenovela style of politics going on. It's no longer As the World Turns, okay? It's full-on Soraya going on, and it's taking up so much time. But, like I said, also the deal with the relatives and the deal with having to figure out certain, emotional things for myself and all that stuff. I mean, and then cooking a lot. I spent 8 hours Christmas Day cooking.
Campbell, are you trying to fly the Jolly Roger on your profile? I just noticed that.
Yeah. By the way, I heard it was a really good game, OU versus Navy. I'm really sorry about the outcome.
I had zero expectations this season, especially when
No, but they came. I mean, seriously, from what I understood, Oklahoma was playing really well, and then Navy came back from behind, and it was 21-20, I think, was the final, correct?
Yeah.
So
I mean, it wasn't a high scoring game, so
no, that was it was pretty tight. So congrats to the Jolly Rogers, Fear the Bones, and I'm sorry to OU, but you guys played a pretty good game. So
giggity, giggity, giggity. Stick around.
It took a while, but you earned one.
What tripped it?
It was pretty.
Okay. So, but right now it's Arkansas versus Texas Tech, and after that it'll be the Aggies versus USC. And I'm like, I'm not staying up that late. No, you cannot pay me.
That's why God invented DVRs.
That's pretty much what I'm doing. I'll get up tomorrow morning early and I'll watch the game. But,
besides, they're going to be cutting into your Murder, She Wrote time. That's unacceptable.
Well, unfortunately, because it is Christmas season, I have not had evening Murder, She Wrote since October 15th. Because that's when all the Christmas movies started on every fucking channel.
See, this is why you need Peacock, because then you could just get your Murder, She Wrote fix anytime you want. But yeah, speaking of which, in the last few minutes, I did want to talk about that because I saw that came up. I think it was right before I got sick in the green room when they were talking about, I guess, making Jamie Lee Curtis the next why am I can't think of her name right now. Damn it. What was the name of the character she played? Because I keep wanting to say her actual name for Murder, She Wrote.
Oh, Jessica Fletcher?
Yeah. Wasn't there something, or was that like a weird dream? Because wasn't there something about making like Jamie Lee Curtis the next Jessica Fletcher?
Yes, yeah, there's a rumor going around that they're talking about Jamie Lee Curtis being in a Murder, She Wrote movie playing Jessica Fletcher. And I'm like, no. I liked Jamie Lee Curtis. I like the things that she has done. I've seen her in many movies, but she does not have, she can't play that character.
Well, she can if they lean into the serial killer aspect of it. Just saying.
Yeah, no, but if they do it that way, yeah. But the thing is, Jessica Fletcher was this unassuming English teacher from this backwater town who was very observant. That's how she wrote a book, put it away in her closet, and her nephew found it. So he read it and then showed it to his girlfriend who works for a publishing firm. And that's how Jessica Fletcher became a novelist. She's very unassuming woman. I mean, she was very mousy and everything. And Jamie Lee Curtis has never been able to play that role. She can't do it. I like everything that Jamie Lee Curtis has done. I honestly do, but she cannot play mousy. She's her character, she has too much of a presence. So, I don't know.
I have kind of tabled my expectations about stuff like that because I absolutely thought I was going to hate the newest iteration of Matlock on CBS, and there was enough of a twist in the beginning that I'm actually kind of hooked, and I don't even like.
Yeah. They actually did not adhere to the old Matlock. They put a twist on it, and it was a good twist. It really was. So I thought that could work. When you do that. But when you're just re-upping an old TV show back again, I'm just like, yeah, that's not going to work for me. Well, even as a movie, it's not going to work for me.
I'm kind of curious to see if they're going to have some sort of twist like they did with that one. Because I don't even like the person that's playing the main character as an actress, and I like her portrayal in this. I was kind of ticked off when I realized they weren't going to have new episodes till like January 30th. I was like, what the hell? I have to have a whole month before I can figure out what's happening next. This sucks.
Danielle brings up a really good point. She's like, they keep rebooting everything, and she's unnerved because Hollywood is not coming up with new ideas. Hollywood can't come up with new ideas because they literally painted themselves into the woke corner.
Oh no, it's not just that. Ordy and I have a theory that AI started writing most of the scripts and the screenplays a long ass time ago, so they're stuck in their own little loops.
Anything that is original, anything that is fresh and hasn't been done before cannot be filmed simply because it does not kowtow to the woke ideology that has infected that place. Look at what happened with Disney. They were doing the same thing. All of their animated films are now live action. Why? Because they cannot come up with they can't do anything new. So, but who knows? Maybe some independent guy will go, hey, I'm going to start doing something independent. Like, oh, The Chosen. There's an idea.
Well,
let's just do this Kickstarter. And oh my goodness, has it taken off? I love that show.
Well, the one thing I will say is small screen Hollywood is at least kind of doing some new stuff. Taylor Sheridan went from being an absolute nobody to a household name in like 4 fucking years. And that dude is cranking out content so fast. I'm pretty sure he sold his soul at some point. I mean, dude has like 5 fucking shows running right now on like 4 different networks. And I'm like, how the hell? All at the same time? Are you kidding me? I mean, granted, the seasons are short enough now that it's easier to write, but still, because by the time you write 5 seasons worth of content for 5 different shows, you've basically written what used to be 2 years worth of content. So I think that's another reason why they shortened everything. But I mean, I'm actually impressed with a lot of the work that he's done because, I mean, even on the stuff that kind of tiptoes around the woke stuff just a little bit, which the most recent one, The Landman, does a little bit because he goes into the whole, we're going to run out of oil before we find a way to replace it. Bullshit, which is bullshit. And we all know it because there's more oil all over the place than we're ever going to be able to get to. And science shows us that now. But It's just, all in your face of like, yeah, you think these windmills are going to save everything, and you realize how much oil it takes to truck the damn things in here. The oil that's in the road that got the shit here, the oil that's in your tires. And I was like, holy shit. Yeah, I played that clip on like 3 different shows in that week just because it
It
was
was
that
a great clip, and it was all, you know, in your face. And I have relatives, including the 2 that I'm writing off, that firmly believe that green energy is the only sustainable stuff out there. And I'm like, I don't know where you're living. And as they tweet out of their iPhones, by the way. And I'm like, I don't know where you're living, but no, that's not
do,
true.
do you like your sweatshop phone? Because if you like your sweatshop phone, you get to keep your sweatshop phone. But yeah, I mean, but no, anyway. But no, not really trying to turn the show political, and we're pretty much top of the hour anyway. So.
Yeah. Well, I guess since we are at the top of the hour, and before we dive into politics, which pretty sure we're going to do later on in some other show.
All day, every day.
Every day. Anyway, Rick, where can we find you?
Well, I'm going to start trying to get things back to normal. So tomorrow night, as long as Laura has a voice, I should be pushing buttons for Front Porch Forensics. Sunday night, America Off the Rails, 10 p.m. Eastern, as long as my voice holds out. Monday, I'm going to be running replays for all the stuff that I didn't run throughout last week for the SHR crew and everybody else. So there'll be a bunch of stuff running in my normal time slot on Monday, maybe even a little bit after, because I don't have to play bus driver until the 7th again. So get to play catch up on some other stuff too, because I'm not going to have to spend 2 hours a day in a car. And then Tuesday, I guess I'm going to try to go back to normal schedule. So Rick Robinson's show Tuesday through Friday next week, 12 to 3. Manorama, 10 p.m. Eastern. Sunday or Wednesday night, I don't think we're going to have very much going on. I know G's off. I don't know who else is going to want to be off, but we'll figure it out and go from there. Thursday, I think Jen and I are back, so that should be 10 p.m. Eastern. Friday night, back around doing this with you, and then next Saturday night will be a juxtaposition night again. I think John and I are going to try to come back sometime after the first of the year. I had planned on hopefully doing that tonight, but I just don't have enough of a voice to try to talk much more than I have right now. It's better, but it ain't great yet, which is why I want to take another 2 days to rest it up. Other than that, you can find me as a contributor when I can find time to do it at twitchy.com, misfitspolitics.com, theloftusparty.com. I also publish the Loftus Party podcast that I produce every Tuesday, and you can follow along with me on X, new boss, same as the old boss, starting to be anyway. At RowdyVic73, you can find the network at KLRNRadio and our new news arm at Digital Beacon US. How about you, Aggie? Where can folks find you now that I've talked my head off for 5 minutes?
You can find me normally on Tuesday nights, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, doing the Cocktail Lounge with the ever suave Brad Slager. Friday nights, doing He Said, She Said with the awesome Brad and Rick. That would be you. Also at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Second month, is it second Wednesday now?
Oh, yeah.
Toxic?
Yeah, so it is
Yeah.
second Wednesday now because we changed it because
Yeah.
I'm tired of having to move everything around for all the holidays that happen at the end of the year.
Right. So second Wednesday of every month, the guys get together for Toxic Masculinity, 8 p.m. Eastern. We host a Babe of the Month, and I bring the drink of the evening. And Jeff and I, on the first Monday of every month, we do Spirited Books podcast, where we discuss books outside of our, comfort zone, and we match a libation to whatever it is that we're reading. And that should be coming up on the 6th of January, as we discussed earlier in the show. And that's it for me. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We hope that you guys had a great Christmas and look forward to a beautiful brand new year.
And Jeff, I will have you know I was once told I sound like Big Bird, which makes me semi-famous, you fucker.